Hello. I come back for a little quick one here because I forgot when Brian Wang was on, I forgot to do Tuesday morning because, of course, it's Monday night of a 3-day weekend. So we need to talk about what's going to happen this week. But let's start out with a little bit of mixed signals going on with regard to Iran. The President of the United States, Mr. Trump, said things were getting better. It looked like they're going to wrap up. And then they did a little bombing operation today in southern Iran. The president explained that this was because the Iranians were getting ready to lay some more mines, and they were also setting up some missile launch capabilities. And he said that we needed to do this little minor strike in order to get those guys out of the way so that they didn't potentially risk harm to U.S. troops. So you'd think, because oil is such a problem right now, because there's such shortages, and because it's just getting worse and worse out there. If you read the pundits, you'd think that oil would have gone down, maybe because of the peace prospects, and then bounced right back up to all-time highs because of the bombing. But no, same thing with bonds. Let's take a quick look with, we'll start with Tesla. And Tesla has been playing around 429. So that'll be up about $3 from where it closed on Friday. And that would be right in keeping with the rest of the market. The rest of the market is up a bit. But let's, as usual, we're going to take a look at, we're going to start with the bonds. If I can ever get to the right place here. I don't know why I'm not. Oh, here we go. I see what I did wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead with bonds. And what you got there is down 7.2 basis points to 4.50, even though there was a little bit of a break in the peace talk. So still down 7% in the pre-market. You got oil, which was down a little bit more. It was down like $6 on Texas Intermediate. Now it's still down 4.77. Brent, on the other hand, was down $5. Now it's up 2. So that makes a little bit of sense in terms of the difference between what's happening in Texas compared to what's happening over there. But the spread is still only $7. So we're not looking at a big spread. Natural gas up 1%, still under $3 again at 294. Gold up, which generally means, hey, we're happy with how things are going. Silver up 1.5%, and copper up 1%. So then you get over to the dollar, which is mixed, and Bitcoin, which was up more earlier. It was up 700-800 points. Now it's only up $97 to 76,736. And Ethereum is basically even, call it unch. Then we go to the Dow futures in terms of what we're expecting for tomorrow morning. We got the futures up 0.56 for the Dow, the S&P up 0.61, and the NASDAQ up 0.86. All of which points to, probably a pretty good opening in the morning. We don't know. So many things can happen overnight. But it looks like this was a very limited strike, and the market is reading it exactly that way. My one guess that I would have is that there's probably rogue groups involved. You probably have very bad command and control right now because you've got different people claiming different parts of leadership. And it could easily be that one general thought, hey, this is what I ought to do. Or maybe it was a little bit of a test to see just how far they could go. Anyway, the good news is that's over. The better news is Tesla's up. The really good news is oil and bond yields are down. So I wanted to bring you that, and then let's go ahead on to what to expect this coming week in the market. And we start with nothing on Monday. No reports, no anything, no economic analysis. That was today. What about tomorrow? S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index. So they have no expectation on that one. It was up 0.9% last month. Maybe flat this month, maybe down, I would say. I would expect it to be much closer to 0.1, and that 0.9 last month was way hot, and my expectations would be it was not sustainable, might even be negative this coming month. We got consumer confidence, which is 92.8, which was all-time horrible, terrible. No, wait, that was consumer sentiment. Consumer confidence was a little better, but still not good. They're thinking it would be even worse this month. It doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Then on Wednesday, nothing scheduled. Thursday, we get the initial jobless claims. The guess there is 213,000, which is in the same range as it's been. durable goods orders are showing up 3.3 is their guess. That's 3.3% month over month in April compared to 0.8% last month. That would be striking and would be a real change in the direction of the markets. Last month, the durable goods minus transportation were 0.9, and they're thinking that stays maybe around there, or they're not willing to guess. I'm not sure which. All right, then we got new home sales. Last month, annualized rate, 882,000, and they're thinking that drops I'm sorry, that was 682. I got to get new glasses. 682,000 on an annualized basis, going down slightly, well, pretty substantially to 665 is their best guess. Then we get Friday, which is where the real sparks might fly. We get the GDP second revision. They think that remains the same at 2.0, even though the second quarter GDP now is sitting at 4.3. So I'm not sure why it's so. I guess there was a few things that some oddball stuff in the first quarter that are causing it to be like this 2.0 level. Personal income was up 0.6 last month. They're thinking that goes up another 0.4 this month. So people are spending money like crazy if that turns out to be true. Personal spending was up 0.9% last month. They think that continues, up 0.5 this month. And then you get the PCE. Last month came in at 0.7 for the headline. They think that drops off a little bit to 0.5. That would be good news. The year over year, last month was 3.5. They think that goes up all the way to 3.8. That must have something to do with last year's comparisons. And then you've got the core PCE index last month, 0.3 month over month. They're saying that stays the same. And you've got the core PCE year over year going up from 3.2 to 3.3. Now, if oil can move down radically, that will just fix all of this, and we will be looking so much better in a few months. Advanced U.S. trade balance in goods, they don't have a number for that. Last month, it was negative 88,000, which was really, really good. Advanced retail inventories, they got no answer, no guess on that, but they were up 0.7. I think they've been up like 3 months in a row. Be a good idea if those were starting to modify, come down a little bit. And advanced wholesale inventory, same thing, was up 1.3% last month, and they don't have a guess. Finally, the Chicago Business Barometer was 49.2, and they're projecting it'll be 51 in this month's report, which would be directionally what we want to happen, right? Okay, I did take a look at the Truflation a little while ago. It was sitting at 2.2, which is about as high as it's been, but it is flat for the last several days. That would be much more in line with, of course, what we're seeing. Again, they're pointing out that oil is almost all of it. And if oil starts trending down, it could be back into the between 1% and 2%. Okay, I just wanted to come in and do that because, I got to do that. Oh, let me just say that coming up in a little while, probably about 7:45 California time, you're going to get the Brian Wang analysis of what's going on with, well, there's a lot more than that, but the main thing is going to be this detailed analysis of the future revenues of SpaceX, along with some conversations about how the impact of various things that SpaceX had on their S1 might be impacting Tesla's potential. Just a little while ago, I was on with Larry Goldberg. You want to go back and see that if you haven't already seen that. Of course, Larry is always outstanding, always able to give us some insights. And he and I talked about something I've been saying a lot about, but now Larry is in full agreement with me. He thinks that Tesla will continue to build more Cortexes and that they're probably looking for an opportunity to rent out Cortex 1. Meanwhile, also on SpaceX, everybody seems to think that they will build more. Like everybody, everybody that I talk to or see believes that they will continue to build out more Colossus facilities up there, add more chips, and then rent out more because why not? It's a great business. So we go into a lot more detail on all of that. And then early this morning, I'll put these cards up, Larry's card, and then this card was Kent Marsh. And in the Kent Marsh conversation, we talked a ton about the rest of the product lines that are ramping right now that will be fully ramped next year. We talked about a lot of those on Saturday morning, Sunday morning. We talked about a lot of those on Sunday morning, and now we talked about the rest of them in part 2 of that video. All right, that's really all I got. I got no more. I'm not going to try to find anything else. So based on that, as usual, it has been great talking to you.